Welcome to the place where the light dares not enter. Here shadows crawl, whispers breathe down your neck, and the darkness watches you even when your eyes are closed. Every story told here is not just a tale, it is a door that creaks open, leading you into nightmares that don't end when you wake. If you hear your name whispered in the silence, if you feel the cold breath on your skin as you listen, don't look around. Don't turn back, because once you've entered, there is no way out. Now, let the story begin. Bad blood. The gravel cut into my knees when Mark shoved me down, sharp little stones grinding through the thin fabric of my jeans. My palms hit the earth, scraping against dirt and grit, but I didn't make a sound. I refused to give him that satisfaction. The silence around us was heavy, broken only by the rough sound of his breathing and the crunch of his boots behind me. The air smelled of dust, sweat, and something else. Something rotten. I lifted my head just enough to glance around, strands of damp hair sticking to my face. The forest had ended somewhere behind us. I could feel it in the change of the ground beneath me, the shift from soft earth to cracked pavement. In front of me, three figures waited. They were men, or at least shaped like men. Their faces were obscured, not by masks, but by the kind of shadows that seemed to cling unnaturally close, swallowing up the faint light of the moon. "You told us your sister would be willing," one of them said. His voice was low, flat, and completely uninterested in me. He wasn't even looking at me, just at Mark. "You said she was calm, sweet." Mark's hand landed heavy on my shoulder. He squeezed as if to remind me who was in control. "She is," he said quickly, "or she will be." I turned my head slowly to stare at him. The betrayal was a living thing inside me, crawling like insects under my skin. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Not yet. Mark crouched down, forcing my chin up with his calloused hand. His gray eyes were close now, uncomfortably close. But when I searched them, I found nothing. No shame, no guilt, just the dead, restless eyes of someone who had made a decision he intended to see through. "Jessie," he murmured, voice almost gentle. "This isn't forever. I just need you to follow these men. Do what they ask. When I've sorted things out, when I'm in a better place, I'll come get you." His words stabbed deeper than his grip on my face. I knew the truth, of course. I had known for weeks. "I know about the gambling, Mark," I whispered. "You're selling me to pay your debt." For a moment, just a flicker, something in his jaw tightened. Then it was gone. He released me, stood up, and sighed as if the weight of my words had been inevitable. "It'll be okay, Jessie's," he said softly, using the old childhood nickname that scraped against my ears like broken glass. "There will be other girls there, your age. You might even make friends." My glare said everything words couldn't. The faceless man to our left barked out, "Enough!" His hand clamped down on my arm like iron, yanking me to my feet. His breath rolled over me, garlic and onion mixed with decay, and I gagged as he sneered. "She's covered what you owe this week." Mark's head snapped toward him. "This week?" His voice was sharp, desperate. "You said this would clear all of it." The man laughed, a terrible hollow laugh that echoed in my bones. "Oh, it covers everything, but we both know you'll be back. Men like you never stay away. I hope, for your sake, you have more sisters." The words hit me harder than the shove that followed. I stumbled forward, bound hands catching uselessly behind me, blindfold pressed to my face as rough cloth swallowed the moonlight. The sound of gravel and footsteps blurred together as I was pushed, shoved, dragged toward the waiting car. Inside, the silence was suffocating. I had expected laughter, cruel jokes, even whispers between my captors, but nothing came. They sat still, breathing slow, like predators who had already eaten and were simply waiting for the next hunt. I clenched my fists against the ropes, counting turns, memorizing vibrations under the tires. After 10-15 minutes, the effort became useless. I gave up and sat in the stifling dark. When the car finally jolted to a stop, the blindfold came away. My wrists were freed with a quick slice of a knife, but before I could move, hands forced me forward. My first glimpse of the place stole the breath from my lungs. An old Victorian house loomed above me, its frame sagging with age. Paint peeled in jagged strips. Windows reflected the pale moonlight like dull, unblinking eyes. The air around it was wrong, too still, too heavy, like the house itself was holding its breath. Inside, the smell hit me. Mildew, rot, something coppery beneath it. The parlor was crowded with girls, pale, silent girls. They sat or stood in corners, eyes glassy, movements jerky, like dolls that had been played with too long. Not one of them met my eyes for more than a second. Not one of them reached out. I swallowed hard. "What now?" I asked, letting a tremor slip into my voice. If they thought I was afraid, they wouldn't look closer. The man with onion breath leaned close, lips peeling back from yellow teeth. "Now we wait. For them." He didn't explain. He didn't have to. I forced myself onto the couch, ignoring the sticky stains beneath the faded flowers of the upholstery. My hands twitched in my lap, itching to reach behind my shirt to feel the familiar weight hidden there. But it wasn't time yet. Not until I knew. Not until I saw. The minutes crawled, each one stretching until I thought I might scream. Then it began. A sound upstairs. Slow footsteps, the creak of old boards under heavy weight. Then shadows moved across the walls, long, sharp, wrong. They entered the room one by one, taller than men, shoulders hunched, faces stretching into elongated grins filled with too many teeth. Their skin looked slick, wet, as if it hadn't quite decided whether it belonged to flesh or shadow. The first one grabbed a tiny red-haired girl who had tried to make herself small in the corner. She screamed once before its laugh cut her off, guttural and cruel, echoing in my chest like thunder. The second one froze, its eyes, if you could call them that, falling on me. Its long finger rose, pointing, trembling slightly with hunger. "Fresh meat," Onion Breath said proudly. The creature crossed the room in a single stride, its breath washing over me like a wave of rot and old blood. Its grin stretched impossibly wide. Claws closed around my throat, and still I smirked. "I keep telling people," I rasped, leaning back against the couch, "you bastards really need to brush your teeth." My hand darted behind my back. The small crossbow slid free from the holster hidden beneath my shirt. The ash-tip bolt was already loaded, disguised for weeks as a simple hair stick. I lifted it, point blank, and fired. The creature didn't even scream. Its body shuddered, turned black, and collapsed into ash. The air filled with the acrid stench of burning. They never frisked the girls. Not for weapons, not for trackers. The room exploded into chaos. The front door crashed open, splinters flying as heavy boots pounded the floor. My team swarmed in, bigger crossbows in hand, losing bolts that hissed through the air. The creatures shrieked and burned, their shadows writhing on the walls like dying snakes. The other girls huddled together, wide-eyed, as the nightmare around them dissolved. Some screamed, some sobbed, but most just stared as though waking from a dream that had gone on too long. Mark appeared at my side, his sweat-stained shirt now replaced with the black gear of our operation. His eyes scanned me quickly, searching for wounds. I stood on my own, nodding once. "That's the 6th nest this month," he said grimly, firing a final bolt into a writhing shadow. "I'm getting really good at being bad at gambling." I couldn't help it. I laughed. A short, harsh laugh that cracked in my chest. Then I looked at the girls, their faces pale and hollow, and the laughter died in my throat. "They'll need help," I whispered. Mark's voice softened. "It's already on the way, but we can't stay. We've got more work tonight." I glanced at him. The brother who had shoved me, betrayed me, sold me, and saved me. Our game of deception had worked again. Each time it scraped more of my soul raw, but each time more girls walked free. I straightened, tucking the crossbow back beneath my shirt. "Then, let's go," I said, my voice steady. "You've still got to sell me 2 more times before sunrise." And together we walked back into the shadows.